Okay, we're going to do a quick recap on a Ecoflow Delta Pro home generator, or backup battery as you want to call it. Just got this unit. This was a refurbished unit, but it's in very good shape, and I guess they replaced the batteries and they double check everything. So I got it at a substantial discount. About, I think I paid $12.49 for it, plus free shipping and Michigan sales tax of 6%, so it was like $13.26 or something like that, I think, total price out the door, which is actually pretty good because they usually list things for like $16.99 or $19.99. This is the 3600 watt version, and you can plug it in the back and it will upload into the unit, which I did because it came with about 30% charge on it, and I plugged it into my AC on the wall, and it was pumping into here at about 1600 watts or so, roughly, in there, and it took about an hour and a half, 2 hours to charge completely up to 100%. But you can see right now it says there's 23 hours left on it. But right now there's, even though I do have two 160 watt, these are flexible solar panels, which I bought for another use, for outdoor camping use, but I hooked these up in series, and the only thing is right now it's the end of the day and the light's going away, and I just from testing this unit, it only starts to charge once you get at least 40 watts of input into it, and right now it's not even producing that. So, but occasionally we'll get some bright light, it'll actually kick back up and it'll go up to 70, 80, 100. If it was bright light, I'd be getting 240 or something like that probably into it. And you've got a bunch of ports on it. You got a USB-A, you got a USB fast charge, which I believe is USB 3. You got a USB-C 100 watt. Two of those. You got two 20 amp max AC outlets. You got a 30 amp larger outlet on it, which I believe I can use that for either my hookup to my home box to switch that over so I can draw out the power straight into my power supply, which I already have set up for a generator. And on the side, you do got a couple ports here. You got an Anderson port. You've got a like a one that looks kind of like a car charger, and you can use that. You've got another 12 volt port. You got a remote port. And this thing does have actually Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. So when I first got it, first thing it did is when I downloaded the app from the barcode was to download a update to the firmware, which took about 15 minutes. And then in the back, we have some additional charge options back here. You got your AC plug, and then you have your C4 to the XT, I think 60 cord on there. And then you got a breaker, but you also have some nice little parts here, which I actually want to get. You have the additional battery ports. They have another unit that's very similar to this, but it's just the battery. There's no additional parts on the front, and it's just meant to be hooked up to one of these units. You can get this bugger up to, I think, this one's 3600. You can go to the next one. If you had one more, you get 7200. If you get one more, you can go 10,800. I actually did run this with two stand-up refrigerator freezers directly, and on a normal pull, when they're running normally without the uptick, when you open the door and it starts to cool off again, was about 150 watts between the two. But when it upticked, it was between 450 and 500 watts when it would kick into full boost mode, basically, to start the cooling process. But I'm gonna see how this runs. I'm gonna run it on different options, and I wanna Actually hook up a couple different, I got a couple 200-watt solid panels and a couple 300-watt solid panels. I'm going to hook them up in both parallel and serial and see how they run. But so far, so good. I think if I was just running my 2 refrigerator freezers off it, it said at the current draw I was doing, unless anything was unexpected if you open the door too much, but it would get about a day's worth of use on those refrigerators before it would need to be recharged. So, and if you did have this hooked up via some solar panels, you could probably generate enough easily to power those continually. And that's kind of actually my goal, is if you don't have power for whatever reason, and if you have a gas generator and the gas generator you don't have any more fuel, which may happen after a few days to a week, I would have another option to power and keep food cold or frozen. So I also want to try this thing, hooking this to my my furnace as well, to see how this would work for powering my furnace. I have natural gas here, so I think as long as the furnace is hooked up, it would work. So, but so far, so good. I'll give another one once I have a couple different options set up for this. The box came very simple. It's just basically 2 big foam pieces in the unit. The unit probably weighs, I think the box says 104 pounds. So it is heavy, but it's still movable. And it's nice. It's on wheels, and it's got this little contraption right here, which actually is a godsend. It's like when you have a suitcase that's really heavy. You get this, you pick this up, and once you get it to about this position, this thing rolls real smooth with no weight. So once you got this thing balanced on the wheels with the fulcrum here, with the handle, it's a piece of cake. But if you had to haul around a bunch of these a lot, it'd get a little heavy, but one unit by itself is not too bad. So we're going to let it go, and we're going to plug this back in here. We're going to put the cover back on, and we're going to let it run. We're going to try a few things and see how they work. So I've already run hair dryers off it, which pull about 1,500 watts. So, but I really want to see what happens when I plug on 4 or 6 solar panels, see how long it takes to actually fill this thing up. So great. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.